My name is Shaidil J, Department of Mechanical Engineering, Malabar Polytechnic College, Kottakkal, Malappuram. In this session, I am going to discuss about the previous year question paper of the course Basic Automobile Engineering, and the course code is 2051. Part A. Answer all the following questions in one word or sentence. Each question carries 1 mark. First question. HDV stands for Heavy Transport Vehicle. HTV stands for Heavy Transport Vehicle. LTV means Light Transport Vehicle. Second question, dash are the length of the road vehicle which extend beyond the wheelbase at the front. That is front overhang. The answer is front overhang. Third question, sum of brake power and friction power is called. Answer is indicated for power. The indicator power means the power generated inside the engine cylinder is called indicator power. In that power, some of the power will be losses due to friction and for operating valves, pumps, etc. So that power is called frictional power, and the brake power is the output that we are getting from the propeller shaft. So that is sum of brake power plus and friction power is called indicated power. Fourth question, CI engine stands for combustion ignition engine. Fifth question, dash is a groove cut near the top of the piston which reduces the path of heat travel from the piston crown to the skirt. This is called a heat dam. Crankshaft is supported in the crankcase through a number of bearings called dash. This is called a main bearing. Seventh question. Which one is not a material of cylinder head gasket? Shimbastos, felbastos, embossed steel, comma, carapac. Carapac is not a gasket material for cylinder, IC engine cylinder. Choose the correct firing order of four-cylinder engine. You must know about the firing order of three-cylinder, four-cylinder, and six-cylinder engine at least. Here it is asking about the four-cylinder engine. It is 1342. The camshaft controls dash options valve opening, valve closing, valve timing, all of this. You may be a little confused about this question. The correct answer is valve opening. The function of the camshaft is to actually to operate the cam, to operate the valve opening, open the valve. Closing will be takes place because of spring loaded. So the exact answer is valve opening. Next is part B. Part B is of 3 mark question. There will be 10 questions will be there. You have to answer 8 questions. First question. List any 5 foreign two-wheeler manufacturing firms. One is Ducati, BMW, Suzuki, Harley Davidson, Yamaha, Honda. So you must also know the country in which these manufacturing companies are situated. Second question, compare wheel track with the wheelbase. Actually, this question was the comparison between wheel track and the curb weight. So I made a little change for this question. So wheel track and a comparison between or compare wheel track and a wheelbase. Wheel track or track width or simply track refers to the distance between the center line of two wheels on the same axle. The distance between the center lines of the wheels of the same axle, that is for the wheel track or track width. Wheelbase means it is the distance between the centers of front and the rear wheels. Third question, what is an engine mount? Engine mount secure the engine to the cab chassis, reduce engine vibration. Whenever the engine is working, the vibration will be occur. For a diesel engine or petrol engine, the vibrations will be occur because of some unbalanced forces. Diesel engine, the compression ratio is high. Due to that, the vibration will be high. Even petrol engine, there will be vibration. So keep the or reduce the vibration. We have to provide some engine mount when it is connected to the or when it is fitted to the chassis. So reduce engine vibration and absorb engine movement during the acceleration and deceleration. This is the main functions of the engine mount. So it is a fitting or connecting member between the chassis and the engine that is called the engine mount. So you can see in this figure, this is the engine of the engine in a car. So it is fitted to the chassis or it is fitted to the frame using engine mount. So of different shapes, engine mount for different automobile, the mount will be also different. Fourth question, summarize any five features of external combustion engine. So you must be remember about the properties or the peculiarities or features of the external combustion engine. In the case of external combustion engine, the combustion will be takes place outside the engine cylinder or cylinder. For example, steam engine. The steam is produced from the boiler, not it is the burning is not taking place inside the engine. In the case of external combustion engine, the fuel used is very cheaper. Use cheaper fuel including solid fuels. We can use some wood or coal. We can use briquette or different fuels are used for the burning purpose of the external combustion engine. And the starting torque is very high, higher the initial cost. Weight is more and space requirement is also high. The case of external combustion engine, space requirement is very high because the burning is take place outside the engine. So the automatically the space requirement is very high. Also the bulky equipment so weight is also high. Less suitable for transport vehicle because of bulk weight. Whenever we are using this engine for the older cases, we are using the steam engines for transportation purpose. Nowadays it is obsolete because it is bulky and weight is very high. So it is less suitable for transport vehicle because of bulk weight. Fifth question. Explain the following engine terminologies. TDC, BDC, friction power. These are the basic terms related to the engine and to the engine power. TDC, that means top dead center. BDC means bottom dead center. And FP or friction power, that is the third one. So we can discuss one by one. First one is called the top dead center, TDC. The uppermost position of the piston in an engine cylinder. That means position nearest to the cylinder cover is termed as the top dead center. That means the topmost position of the piston is called the top dead center. The bottom dead center means the lowermost position of the piston in an engine cylinder. That means position near to the crankshaft. When the piston moves down, what is the extreme position? To the bottom side, that is called the bottom dead center. The piston moves up, what is the extreme position at the top? That is called the top dead center. Friction power. Already we discussed about the friction power in the case of one mark question. It is a horsepower or the power used by an engine in overcoming the friction of moving parts such as pump, dynamo, camshaft, etc. So friction power, we can write the equation as friction power is equal to indicate power minus brake power. Sixth question, show the picture of a dry liner and wet liner and mark all the parts. In this question, it is only asked about the picture, not to explain what is a dry liner or a wet liner. In the case of dry liner, you can see the cylinder. We are inserted the liner into this cylinder, and the here the cooling will be takes place. The water you can see the water jacket you can see in which the water is filled with the water is completely filled, and this is for the cooling purpose. So there is no direct contact of this water and this liner, then it is called a dry liner. And see here there is no direct contact between water and this liner, so it is called a dry liner. If it is directly contact, the water is contacting with the liner, then it is called a wet liner. The figure is you can see here the wet figure of the wet liner. Here you can see the water jacket. Here it is the space is empty. That means it is filled with the water, and this water is directly in contact with the liner portion. That is why it is called the wet liner. The portions are the important part of this figure is one is called cylinder block. This is a water jacket. In this water jacket, the water is in contact with the liner. That is why it is called wet liner. Here you have to mark it as a wet liner. In the earlier figure, there was a dry liner. This is some packing rings for arresting the leakage of water from this to outer side. This is called wet liner. In this case, I am also like to explain this what is why we are using a liner. The cylinder is casting. The cylinder is manufactured by the casting process. So if any wear and tear takes place to the cylinder will cause we have to replace the cylinder or we have to rebore it or it is a costly. The manufacturing of the cylinder is very costly. The casting process is costly. So we are using some liners. The liners are using. So whenever the liner is having some issues, we can remove this liner and we can insert a new liner. So that is the cost of liner is very less compared to the casting process. So and easy to do the maintenance operation also. That is why we are using liners. And if the liner is in contact with the water, it is called wet liner. And if it is not in contact with the water in the cooling jacket, it is called the wet dry liner. You can move to the next question, seventh question. Show the simplified sketch of a four-cylinder inline engine, crankshaft, and mark all the parts. The question about the crankshaft of the four-cylinder engine that is very important. Four-cylinder engine, and it is you have to mark all the parts of this crankshaft. So you can see if it is a inline four-cylinder engine, you can see there will be four connecting rod will be there, or so it will be connecting rod is connected to the crankshaft. So the big end of the connecting rod is connected to the crankshaft. You can see for the first crankshaft, for the first cylinder, first connecting rod is connected to this crankshaft at this point, and the second connecting rod will be connected to this point. Third will be connected to this point, and fourth will be connected to this one. So it is indicating this figure shows for four-cylinder inline engine. Here the different parts are, you can see the crank nose accessory drive. That is this point. Front end is called this one is the front end. There is a gear is there for valve tray or timing drive. There is a gear will be there. The front end there is a gear drive for operating the camshaft or operating the valve and other drives. Here in this portion, this is called the position where the main bearing is coming. So there will be, and you can see an oil hole here. This is a small hole to the shaft, and this connected to this point, and this connected to this point, this point. Again, you can see the holes here and here. At every point, you can see the holes where there is a connection to the connection tool. So why this is provided? This is for providing some lubrication at this point of this bearing, and this in this case at this point it is providing the lubrication between this journal and connect rod beacons, because it is continuous whenever the engine is working, it is continuously moving. So wear and tear will be occur if there is no lubrication. So the automatically lubrication will be supplied through this hole to reduce the friction. So it is mentioned as pressurized oil feed hole. Oil is feeding through this hole and it is moving to this point, every point it is reaching. This is called the crank verb. This is called the crank verb. We can see this is a crank verb, this is a crank verb, this is a crank verb, this one, this one, this one, and this one are called the crank verb, where the connecting rod is connected. This is called the crank verb. Whenever the engine is working, there will be unbalanced force will be there. So it will be balanced with this counterweight. We are providing some counterweight for the every end opposite end of the connecting rod. There will be a counterweight is attached. This where the connecting rod is connected. That is called this is called a crank pin, and this is called a crank pin journal. Simply called crank pin journal. Here, the center line you can see this. These are some bearings are provided. This is called a main journal or main bearing. Here one main bearing will becomes here, 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 and here. This is called the crank radius. The distance from the center of the crankshaft to the center of the crank pin, that is called the crank radius. It is near equal to the stroke by two, half of the stroke length, that is the radius of the crank. The rear end we are connecting the power taking takeoff, it takes place at the rear end. We are connected the flywheel flange where the flywheel is connected, or we are taking the primary drive from the engine at this point. So you have to know the figure to draw the figure, and you have to know the to mark the every points and each and every terms of the crankshaft. Eighth question: list the requirement for exhaust valve material. That means what are the properties required for the exhaust valve material for manufacturing the exhaust valve? What type of material you have to choose, and what are the properties are required for that? So we are generally taking the austenitic steel material for the manufacturing of the exhaust valve. It is specifically mentioned the exhaust valve because exhaust valve, the exhaust gas after burning the exhaust gas is passing through the exhaust valve. So it is undergoes some high temperature. It may be undergo some smoke, etc. So it has certain properties. So high heat transfer material. So high heat is generating inside the engine. If the material is heated, the heat transfer rate from the valve is also very much high. Otherwise, if the heat transfer is less, it may be deformed. That is why it is temperature resistant, corrosion resistant, because the valve is operating continuously up and down. So the fatigue resistance is also the qualities for withstanding the variable load condition. That is also important for this valve material, exhaust valve material. Good surface finish of the face of the valve, there should be good seating. It is also wear resistant because it is continuously moving up and down. If wear and tear is take place at a high amount, leakage of the gas will be take place. So wear resistant is also very important in the case of exhaust valve material. Ninth question: outline the advantages of eye head valve mechanism. You can see the figure of an eye head, simply schematic figure of the eye head mechanism, head valve mechanism. Here the one is inlet valve, other is called the exhaust valve. The inlet and exhaust valves are located on one side of the cylinder head. The valves are operated by a single camshaft through the tappet, push rod, and rock arm mechanism. I heard the mechanism are generally used in the case of ambassadors and ambassador car or Rasul Island. The major advantages are higher volumetric efficiency. Because of this I head mechanism, the volumetric efficiency will be high, higher the compression ratio, leaner air fuel mixture can be burned, and lower initial cost. These are some specific advantages. You must be simply you have to draw this figure and you have to specify in which what is this mechanism and what are the advantages because it is asked for 3 mark question. The 10th question, what is a push rod? Push rod is a connecting member in the valve mechanism. Push rod is a connecting member in valve mechanism actuated by a cam to open or close a valve of an internal combustion engine. It is a link between tappet and rockram. That the position of the push rod is in between tappet rockram. That means camshaft is there. On that cam is there. Cam is operated to the tappet. Due to the movement of cam, the tappet will move up and down. So the tappet is connected to the push rod. The push rod will try to move up and down. The end of the push rod is connected to the rockram. Rockram will be correspondingly push the valve, inlet and the exhaust valve. So that is a function of the push rod. A push rod engine is commonly known as overhead valve OHV, that is push rod engine. This overhead valve engine is also called push rod engine. This is an engine where the camshaft is located in the engine block and push rods acting on the camshaft open and close the overhead valve via cam followers. That is simply indicating what is the overhead valve mechanism here. This is actually the functions of or what is a push rod. So the figure, if you can draw a figure, that is best for this question. What is a push rod? You have to draw simply a cam, there's a push rod, then there's a rock drum, and there is a valve. That is a best method of answering this question. Because that much explanation is there for this question. So you have to, in such cases, you have to draw the simple schematic sketches. So we can move to the part C of this question paper. Answer all questions from the following. Each question carries 7 marks. List any 5 three-wheeler manufacturing companies in India and abroad. So generally, such questions are asking in this course. So students must know about the automobile companies outside the India, including two-wheeler, three-wheeler, and four-wheeler companies. Nowadays, the question will be changing to electric automobile or industry. So you must know about the name of the companies which is manufacturing electric vehicles too. That is very important nowadays. So we have to identify the manufacturing companies in India and abroad. First, you can. I'm going to explain in the India the companies in India: Bajaj Auto, Piaggio. Here it is specifically mentioned the three-wheeler manufacturing companies, three-wheeler automobiles. Mahindra and Mahindra, YC Electric, Sierra Electric Auto, Delhi Electric Auto, Adul Auto. These are very three-wheeler companies, famous three-wheeler companies in India. In the case of abroad, Volcar from France, Allard Clipper from United Kingdom, Amar Motor Company, Pakistan, Action, United Kingdom, Morgan Motor Company from United States. So you must by heart these company names. Such questions will be asking in the examination. That is simply means because of general awareness of the your course. Define the following major systems of an automobile: engine, drive chain, fuel system, frame, and body. First one is engine. It's a device which convert the heat energy was into mechanical energy. It consists of cylinder, piston, connecting rods, valves, etc. There are mainly two types of engine. That is, one is called IC engine and other is called EC engine. The basic classification of the engine: internal combustion engine and external combustion engine. Drive chain. It is a power transfer system of an automobile. How the drive is transferring from engine to the wheels. That is called drive chain. It includes engine, flywheel, clutch, gearbox, universal joint, propeller shaft, again universal joint, differential, and a rear axle. Fuel system. The fuel system in a vehicle is the combination of parts needed to carry fuel into and out of the engine. The main parts of the fuel system are the fuel tank, fuel line, fuel pump, fuel filters, and a distribution device. Frame. Frame is the skeleton or the backbone of the vehicle. The main function of the frame is to provide a non-flexible mount to carry the rider and all the various components of the vehicle. The ability of vehicle handling depends upon the shape of the frame. Body. Body is different from the frame. Don't confuse about the same as frame and body are same. Frame is different and body is different. Body is a superstructure of the vehicle. In larger vehicle, chassis and the body are made separately and connected. Primary task of the body is to ensure highest level of safety. Here you can see this is simply the chassis portion. This is the chassis portion. This is a drive chain. Actually, this engine. There is a clutch is there. Then it is sorry, flywheel is there. Then clutch. Then the gearbox. Then universal joint, propeller shaft. Again universal joint to the differential to the drive final drive to the rear axle. So this drive chain. This is for simply the drive chain. How the power is transmitting from the engine to the point where drive is dispatched. Next question. Compare SI engine with the CI engine. This is very important. The comparison between SI engine, CI engine, or two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. So it may be asking in other words, diesel engine and petrol engine, or different ways a question asking from this module. So you must be study about this comparison between SI engine and CI engine, two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine, etc. SI engine means spark ignition engine and CI engine means combustion ignition engine. In other way, we can SI engine is also called petrol engine, CI engine is also called a diesel engine. The first one is spark ignition. The petrol. In the case of spark ignition engine, we are using petrol. In the case of CI engine, combustion ignition engine, we are using diesel as a fuel. During the case of SI engine, during the suction stroke, air and fuel mixture is sucked into this cylinder. But in the case of CI engine, during the suction stroke, air alone is sucked into the cylinder. In the case of SI engine, combustion ratio is very low, but in the case of CI engine, combustion ratio is very high. That means petrol engine combustion ratio is less, it is nearly 10 is to 1. Diesel engine combustion ratio is high, that is nearly 24 is to 1. Therefore, the combustion temperature is low in the case of SI engine, and the combustion temperature is high in the case of CI engine. In the case of SI engine, operate under constant volume. So it is called the cycle. For SI engine, it is called Otto cycle. It is also called constant volume cycle. The case of CI engine, it is called a constant pressure cycle, or it is also called a diesel cycle. In the case of SI engine, the fuel is ignited by means of electric spark by spark plug. In the case of diesel engine, fuel is ignited due to the heat of the highly compressed air. Combustion takes place at a constant pressure. In the case of SI engine, a carburetor is used to atomize, vaporize, and meter the correct amount of fuel according to the requirement. The case of CI engine, fuel injection pumps and atomizers are used to inject measured quantity of fuel at a high pressure according to the requirement. In the case of SI engine, less vibration and hence smooth running. Because the combustion is less, there will be less vibration and there will be smooth running. But in the case of CI engine, the combustion is high, more the vibration, running, it is more noisy. In the case of SI engine, the combustion is less, the engine weight is less. In the case of CI engine, the combustion is high, the more combustion is there, so the pressure is high, so engine weight is more. We have to manufacture with the stronger part, that is why engine weight is more. Let's start the working of a four-stroke petrol engine. So this is also very important. The working of the four-stroke petrol engine or four-stroke diesel engine or two-stroke petrol engine or two-stroke diesel engine. So there will be a question from this difference between four-stroke, two-stroke, petrol or diesel. Also the working of two-stroke or four-stroke engine. So that is a sure mark question from these two. So this is a simple schematic sketch of the cylinder piston arrangement. You can see this engine cylinder. There is a piston is there. This is called the connecting rod. This is the crank, and this is the inlet valve is there. Exhaust valve is there. Since it is a four-stroke petrol engine, there will be a spark plug is there. That is indicated by SP, spark plug. So there will be four stroke is for the four-stroke engine. The cycle of operation is completed in four stroke of the engine. So the first stroke is called the suction stroke, second stroke is called compressor stroke, third stroke is called power stroke or working stroke, and the fourth stroke is called exhaust stroke. So whenever you are explaining this stroke, you have to specifically mention some details like what happened to the inlet valve and exhaust valve, what is the position of the movement of the piston, what's the rotation of the crank angle, what's the pressure and temperature inside the cylinder, whether it is increasing or decreasing, what is the spark plug is occurring or take place or not, that you have to explain. So that is the way we have to explain the each and every stroke. That means what is the movement of the piston in each stroke, what is the valve condition, what is the temperature and pressure, what about the spark plug condition, what is the crank angle of rotation. So I am going to explain the first stroke is called section stroke. That means the piston, the topmost position is called TDC and bottommost position is called BDC, where the piston can move between TDC and BDC. During section stroke, piston moves from TDC to BDC. During this movement, the inlet valve will be in the open condition. So the air fuel mixture is entering into the cylinder because when the piston moves from TDC to BDC, here the low pressure is created. That is why the air fuel mixture, air plus petrol is entering, mixture is entering into the cylinder. The crank is rotated 180 degree of rotation. That means half the revolution of the crankshaft. During the second stroke, that is called compressor stroke, the piston moves from BDC to TDC. During that condition, The both inlet and exhaust valve is closed condition, and there will be a mixture of air fuel mixture during the suction stroke, already emptied air fuel mixture during the suction stroke. So when the piston moves from BDC to TDC, this air fuel mixture is compressed to high pressure and temperature because both the valve is closed condition, so it cannot move outside. So the pressure and temperature will be increased. And at the end of the compression, at the end, the piston just moves and reaches to the TDC. The temperature and the pressure will be high due to this compression. During that time, we will be igniting that the spark plug will be ignited. The burning will be takes place to this air petrol mixture. So it will be leads to the next stroke is called working stroke or power stroke. Due to this burning, the explosion will be takes place in the cylinder so that the movement of the piston from TDC to BDC will be takes place. So due to the burning of this or the spark plug, ignition from the spark plug, the pressure and temperature is increases further high. So the piston moves down. The both valve is closed condition. So the during the working stroke, the piston moves from TDC to BDC. So this is a third stroke crank again 362. It is completing a 540 degree of rotation. So in this case, it is 180 degree, again a 180 degree, again a 180. Now it is 540 degree. So this working stroke or power stroke, this is only the stroke which gives power to the power producing stroke. This is the only power producing stroke. All other stroke we have to give the power. Section we have to provide the power. Combustion we have to produce the power. We have to give the power. And engine is giving power out in the power stroke only. In the last stroke, that is the piston moves from BDC to TDC, the exhaust valve will be open condition. So the exhaust, after the burning is occurring, this the gas will be you have to remove out. So the exhaust valve will open. The piston moves from BDC to TDC. Due to this, the movement of piston, the exhaust gas will be moving out to the exhaust manifold. During that time, inlet valve is in the closed condition. So now the 720 degree, that means two revolution of the crankshaft is completed. That means two revolution of the crankshaft. That means four stroke we are only getting one stroke, that is a power stroke. So only two revolution we are providing, only one power stroke is we are getting. So that energy utilizing for providing suction stroke, combustion and exhaust stroke, etc. This is the working of the four stroke petrol engine. So you have to remember what is the movement of the piston, what is the valve condition, what's the temperature and pressure, what's spark plug is igniting or not, what's the crank angle. All this is you have to explain in this case in every stroke of the engine. Seventh question, identify the application of the two-stroke and four-stroke petrol engines. Here it is identify the application of two-stroke and four-stroke petrol engines. Application of two-stroke petrol engine. Nowadays, the two-stroke engines are obsolete. Anyway, you have to study the applications of two-stroke petrol engine used in motorcycles, mopeds, scooter, snowmobiles, which have less engine capacity and are cheaper to run. Used in handheld mechanical appliances like a chainsaw due to the design which allows them to operate without the need of the foreign reservoir. Ultra-light and model airplanes, we are using a two-stroke petrol engines. Four-stroke petrol engines, small pump set, bike, car, mobile generator sets, airplanes, we are using four-stroke petrol engines. Most of the engines nowadays we are using is petrol engine. Diesel engine is also using. And anyway, the four-stroke engine, most of the vehicles, car, bike, etc., you're mainly using this petrol, four-stroke petrol engine. Eighth question, identify the applications of two-stroke and four-stroke diesel engines. Now, these two-stroke and four-stroke diesel engine, the application is also asked in this question paper. Two-stroke diesel engine, off-road motorcycles, small marine vessels, marine engine. It's very difficult to identify. You have to specifically study this application of two-stroke engines. Application of four-stroke diesel engine, diesel train, truck, car, light aircraft, ship, heavy-duty, electric generator, power hammers, etc. We are using this four-stroke diesel engine. Summarize the construction details of automotive engine cylinder head. So this is a constructed figure of the cylinder head, etc. You can see here. The question is to summarize construction details. What are the details of construction? That is of the engine cylinder head. It is asked about the engine cylinder head. Here you can see this is a cylinder head in this figure. This is a valve cover, cylinder head. This is a cylinder. This is a crankcase, and this is the oil pan. So the question is about the cylinder head. What are the construction details? You have to write the construction details of the engine head. The cylinder head is made up of single casting. It is bolted to the top of the cylinder block. It has passages for oil and water circulation, cooling, and for the lubrication purpose we are supplying oil and water. It accommodates valves, spark plug. What are the parts connected to this cylinder head? That is, valve is connected, spark plug is connected, some injector in the case of diesel engine, and heater plug is connected to take the temperature of the engine. A combustion chamber is also provided in some cylinder heads. Some cylinder head combustion chamber is also provided. In the case of the overhead valve system, the cylinder head support the rocker shaft assembly. Yeah, in the case of overhead valve system, also support the rocker shaft assembly. The lower surface of the cylinder head is machined to the specified accuracy, and a gasket is used in between cylinder head and the cylinder block to avoid leakage. So between the leakage between cylinder and cylinder head is avoided using a gasket. So it is that side is very finished, highly finished. Generally, it is made up of cast iron or aluminum alloy. The 10th question, explain the functions of oil pan. This is here in this figure. I already told you this is a oil pan. This is a oil pan. What are the functions of oil pan? That is the question. Oil pan is fitted at the bottom of the crankcase by using gasket. It serves as a reservoir and allows the oil for lubricating the engine. Its capacity depends upon the size of the engine. The oil pan is attached to the bottom of the engine with a bolt and is the reservoir for oil that gets pumped throughout the engine to lubricate, that is very important, to lubricate, clean, and cool moving parts of the engine. The lubrication oil has a lot of functions. It is not only to lubricate, sometimes it cleans, sometimes it also cool the moving parts of the engine. A drain plug is provided to the oil pan to drain out the oil whenever the scheduled maintenance we have to conduct during that time. We have to remove the oil using this drain plug. So we have to explain this little bit more because it is asking for CRMR question. So you can add some figure. What is an oil pan? You can show some oil pan. It consists of uh, where it is pumping to the oil to these different parts of the engine, etc. You have to add some more details because it is asked for CRMR. 11th question, compare wire-wound piston with the taper piston. So there are different types of pistons are there. That is like a campground piston, taper piston, wire-wound piston, etc. Here the question is compare wire-wound piston with the taper piston. So wire-wound wound piston. They are designed with a wire mesh that wrapped around the piston skirt. So this wrapping of wire wound piston, that is wrapping is about the skirt. It helps to reduce the friction and improve the engine efficiency. Why we are using a wire wound piston? Also reduce the thermal expansion of the skirt. That is a very important term. That is to reduce the thermal expansion of the skirt because at the top of the piston the burning is take place. So heat transfer is from take place from the top of the piston down to the skirt. So there may be that the skirt portion thickness is less, so there will be some expansion maybe takes place. So to reduce that, to increase the heat transfer, we are using wire wound piston so that we can reduce the friction, improve the engine efficiency. Wire wound pistons are commonly used in the diesel engines where the efficiency is critical. In such cases, we are using the wire wound pistons. Advantages: improved heat resistance. That means it can heat transfer will be high. Wire wound pistons can offer improved heat resistance and thermal stability because it is working under high temperature. Reduced weight. Wire wound pistons can be lighter than the other pistons designed. This can result in improved fuel economy and performance. So next is about the taper piston. The taper piston means the skirt is diameter is say different compared to the crown of the piston. At the crown, the diameter is little less compared to the skirt. So that is why it is called taper piston. So what happened is when the engine is working, the heat due to high temperature, the piston, the top surface of the piston will be slightly expand to suit the exact shape of the cylinder. That type of piston is called taper piston. This is sometimes termed taper. The diameter of the crown side is smaller than the skirt end. As high temperature occur towards the crown, the sides expand more than the skirt, due to which the diameter becomes uniform under the running condition. So what happened due to this temperature increases, the crown of the piston increases more than the diameter of the skirt. So that will be cause some issues. So that may be stick on the piston may be seized to the cylinder. To avoid that is in the form of taper. It is designed with a tapered shape, which allows for better heat dissipation and reduce the risk of hot spot. Hot spots means whenever the pistons it touches on the cylinder surface, it will be make some fault. That is hot spot making some hot spots, which can cause engine damage. Taper pistons are commonly used in high performance engines such as those found in racing cars and aircraft. Some advantages: improved combustion. Because we are using the taper piston, the combustion will be improved. Taper piston allow the better air and fuel mixing. This can result in more efficient combustion and improved performance. Another advantage is reduced friction. Taper pistons can reduce friction between the piston and cylinder wall. This can be lead to improve the fuel economy and reduce emissions. Because we are making this in tapered form, so it will be will not it can reduce the friction because it expand and it will be at a particular limit only. So it cannot touch on the cylinder walls to increase the friction. So it can reduce friction. Disadvantage because manufacturing cost is too high. Taper pistons can be more expensive to manufacture due to their complex design. Taper pistons, based upon the durability, taper piston may be more prone to wear and tear than the pistons. If it is undergone some wear and tear, this very severe condition, that is, durability problems are there. The 12th question: outline the following. So you have to give some notes on this following. That is, first is about the functions of piston rings. What are the functions of piston rings? So there are two types of piston rings are there. One is called the combustion ring, other is called the oil ring. So what are the functions of combustion and what are the functions of oil ring? The second question is about the types of piston ring end gaps. What are the different shapes of the end gaps of the piston rings? So we can answer one by one. So first one is the functions of piston ring. Two type kinds of rings are present in the case of piston. First one is called combustion ring. It is used to prevent any leakage of the gases and form a seal between piston and the cylinder walls. Whenever the engine is working, there should be a seal. There must be a seal between cylinder and the piston to prevent the leakage of gas. So that is a function of the combustion ring. Each piston is provided with the two combustion rings, one at the bottom and other at the top. Its cross section is rectangular. Heavy duty engines have three or more rings. So if the engine size is more or heavy duty, the rings are more rings should be provided. The second ring is called the oil ring. As the piston moves up and down, it rubs against the inner cylinder wall. This causes scratches on the piston and cylinder wall surfaces. In order to prevent this rubbing action, oil is passed from oil pan onto the cylinder wall when the piston moves up. When the piston moves down, the oil rings scrape the oil from the cylinder wall. Thus, the oil is drained into the oil pan. Oil rings are used to provide an effective seal to prevent leakage of lubricating oil into the cylinder. So, oil ring is also doing some specific functions. So, oil rings providing oil and it scrape the oil to the oil pan, and also it prevents the movement of oil from the cylinder surface to the inner to the cylinder side. That means the bearing side. So will not be enter into this cylinder. It is only acting on the surface of the cylinder only, and these rings will be strapped it is down to the oil pan. The second question is what are the different types of piston ring in gap? So you have to draw some figure to explain this. So there is a straight butt type. That is a straight cut. You can see there is straight butt type piston rings will be there. If it is a inclined cut, that is called tapered butt type piston rings. It is a step cut. You can see step cut, or sometimes it is called seal cut type oil rings. 13th question. Explain the following. List the major part of a crankshaft. What are the major parts of the crankshaft? The function of a crankshaft. So it is actually asking about the two questions asking list major parts of crankshaft, and the B part is material for crankshaft manufacturing. So you have to answer. Sometimes the question is not the answers are not for 7 marks. The explanation will not be covered 7 marks. So you have to add some more explanation to achieve this 7 mark. So the function of the crankshaft is to convert the reciprocating motion of the piston into the rotary motion. To the crankshaft output, the flywheel is connected. Flywheel is connected, attached to the crankshaft. Actually, the reciprocating motion of this piston is converting into rotary motion by the help of connection rod. That is the meaning of here. The function of the crankshaft is to convert the reciprocating motion of the piston into the rotary motion. The crankshaft also drives camshaft and certain other accessories like oil pump, dynamo, ignition, distribution units, water pump. It also carries flywheel and at the one end. So you can, in connection with this, you can explain some other things also. So these are the main part already we explained in the case of 3 mark question. And the pressurized oil feed hole, crank pin journal, main journal bearing, power takeoff, that is flywheel is attaching point, there is a flange, we are attaching the flywheel, this is a crank radius, the corner fillet is provided, the counterweight is provided, crank web is there, and also valve train. So the timing, the gear is attached to drive the camshaft. Crank nose accessory drive. Here are the accessories you can provide some drive from this end. This end is for the flywheel. Material for crankshaft manufacturing. We are using mainly cast or drop forged heat treated steels are using for manufacturing crankshaft. because it has to require many properties like it is working on the fluctuating road, temperature may be high, shock loading may be act. So the material must be suitable for these type of thermophysical conditions. So that is why we are using cast or drop or the heat treated steels are using for the manufacturing of the crankshaft. 14th question, the last question, explain necessity of a vibration damper. So whenever the engine is working, there will be torsional vibration because if it is a four-stroke petrol engine, only in the one stroke we are getting the power stroke is the four out of these four stroke, only one power stroke we are getting. That is the two revolution, only one stroke which is giving the power to the engine or power from the, we are getting the power from the engine. So there will be fluctuation of this energy or this movement due to this piston movement. So there will be this fluctuation, the torsion that is creating the torsional vibration. So now to arrest the vibration, we are using damper, torsional harmonic vibration damper. There will be an inner hub is there, outer hub is there. In between, we are providing some rubber type material for this damping purpose, vibration damper. Vibration damper is also called a harmonic balancer. It is mounted on the front end of the crankshaft. It consists of a damper, flywheel comes to crankshaft pulley, and a driving fans connected together with a rubber ring in between. Between this, we are using a rubber ring or rubber cushion. During the power stroke in an engine cylinder, a force is applied to its crankpin, which tends to twist the crankshaft. This force disappears during the other strokes. While during the next power stroke, it again reappears due to which the crankshaft is untwisted and again twisted. The same cycle is repeated at every crankpin on the engine crankshaft. The twisting and untwisting of crankshaft setup torsional vibrations, which may become amplified if their frequency become equal to the natural frequency of the vibrating parts due to resonance. That condition is called resonance. Whenever the force frequency equal to natural frequency, that become failure condition. That is called the resonance condition. The vibration damper reduces the total vibration by means of the dragging effect produced by the inertia of damper flywheel. Because of this dragging effect, rubber ring is also fluxed, which tends to avoid the vibrations and keep the crankshaft speed uniform. So this helps to make the crankshaft speed uniform because the vibration is varying. The torsional vibration is creating some variation in the torsion or torsional vibration. We have to reduce it using some dampers. Engines with the belt drive crankshaft do not need a vibration damper. The belt acts as a damper. Because of this belt itself, it is acting as a damper. That's all. Thank you.